Hey, what's going on? Welcome back for another vidya. Here we go again. Here we go again. I'm still going. That's amazing. I'm proud of myself. So, what are we talking about today? Well, today we are going to get into a brand new mini series. I'm telling you, man, I got some series lined up for you people. Like y'all don't even know. Like I got some series, but this is one that I will say is an original thought I had for the channel. Got inspiration from a young fellow that goes by the name Wendigoon. Now, he himself does this same exact thing almost. The conspiracy theory iceberg, right? Now, just to kind of jump into it really quickly, if you don't know what any of those words mean, there's something on YouTube and probably other forms of media now called iceberg theories. The way it works is if you've ever heard the phrase, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Well, that's kind of the gist of it. So you start out at the very top, the surface level type of stuff that most people have kind of heard about. But the deeper you get, the more rare and obscure the information gets, and it just kind of gets into something very deep and unknown. Now, you can hear iceberg theories in random topics, so you can find one for probably a TV show like Seinfeld or even a video game like Halo or something like that. And the point is just to find all of this type of information at just various levels, high level all the way to just deep in the core about any given topic. However, today we're going to be doing it over the conspiracy theory, aka originally called the truth iceberg theory. So how is this going to be any different from what you can just go find on the internet right now? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. The difference is I plan on doing deeper dives instead of what you may have seen on other previous channels. So that's kind of how this is going to work. Also, instead of me doing every single topic on it, I'm kind of just going to pick some that stuck out to me. And the way it works is I'm doing it like this. Tier 1, I'm only covering one subject. Tier 2, I'm covering 2. Tier 3, 3, and I think you get the idea. However, if there is a particular one that you see that you may want me to try to do a deeper dive on, go ahead and shout it out and I will try to see, if I can find some more information. But with all that being said, let us jump into Tier 1, and we are covering the Bilderberg Group /meeting. The Bilderberg Group is an annual conference that started in 1954 between North America and Europe. Originally, it was used to prevent another world war. CEOs, public figures, and political leaders gather once a year, and this is used to discuss pressing issues concerning the entire world, but behind closed doors and without the media being present. The name itself is derived from a hotel in Holland in 1954 from where the very first Bilderberg meeting was held. It is a 3-day meeting, and it is considered and quoted by many to be informal. And of course, like I said before, it was designed to just invoke a relationship and communication between North America and Europe. Each year, there are about 120 to 150 guests in attendance, and they range in fields such as finance, media, or other various industries as well, such as even academia. Technically, there is no criteria to be met, so there's never a thing that you can look up to try to check off these boxes to see if you can go. It is an invitation only, so in other words, you must be chosen in order to attend. On average, about 2/3 of these attendees come from Europe, and the other 1/3 comes from North America. Also, about 1/3 comes straight from politics and government, and the other 2/3 come from the other forms of media that I spoke about, or industries that I spoke about earlier. Historically, the list of attendees leans towards banking, finance, governmental people, and I think you see where we're kind of going with this. If not, don't worry, I have my own opinions at the end. There is what is called a steering committee, and this steering committee is in control of chairs and co-chairs. So there is a little bit of structure to it, and they assign people these roles, and they also assign certain things and designations, such as where the next meeting is going to be held, some of the topics they're going to cover, and even getting down to covering the fees of the people staying, such as, I guess, their flights and their hotel stays and all the things of that nature as well. Officials in these positions are elected, and they serve a 4-year term, very similar to how we do with United States presidential candidates as well. And also, according to Kenneth Clark, you can be reelected, however, you cannot reign in these positions forever. At some point, I won't say forced to step down, but it's kind of insinuated like, bruh, don't you think you've been doing this a little too long? Somebody else should have a shot. So eventually, you will have to step down. You can't keep reigning in these positions. So I decided to pick my phone up so I don't misquote this. I want to get it verbatim. In 2001, Dennis Healy, who is a co-founder of the group, said this quote, "To say we were striving for a one-world government is exaggerated, but not wholly unfair. Those of us in Bilderberg felt we couldn't go on forever fighting one another for nothing and killing people, rendering millions homeless. So we felt that a single community throughout the world would be a good thing." Whew. Man, this is kind of spicy, ain't it? Some of the members who attend have actually went on to become presidents and prime ministers. There's no coincidence there, though. None at all. None. Here is just a tiny list of people you may recognize who have attended Bilderberg meetings. And again, I'm going to read off the list so I don't jack this up. And here we go. Eric Schmidt, who was a former CEO at Google. John Micklethwaite, editor-in-chief at Bloomberg. Alex Karp, who is the CEO of Palantir, and former minority leader of Georgia House of Representatives, Stacey Abrams. Now, that's just a few of the people who have been, I think, in the recent years, as in like 2019 to now. Also, fun fact, the meeting was held off in 2021 and 2020 for obvious coffee type reasons. Found this one particularly interesting. Whenever these meetings are held, they are held under what is called the Chatham House Rule, meaning whenever you are at these meetings, it is okay for you to take in what information that you hear. You can take this information and you can literally spread it wherever you want to. However, you are not to name the people who told you the information. And I think it was like another thing. So it's this weird thing to where you can share what you've heard, but you can't share where you got it from. And you can't share enough information to where people can get the clue of where you got it from, right? So if I get very sensitive information from, I don't know, let's say Cuba, whatever, obviously, I'm going to check and figure out who attended from Cuba and be like, boom, it was that guy. But I got to at least give enough information that is, of quality without giving away my sources, or else I violated the Chatham rules. And I don't know what happens if you violate the Chatham rules at the Bilderberg Group. I don't think anyone has ever done it. So, yeah, but don't snitch on people. That's the number one rule. Don't snitch on people, apparently. So, yeah. Former chairman Etienne Davignon, I think I said that correctly. Anywho, they said that the true appeal about the Bilderberg Group /meeting is that it allows for key figures, political leaders, financiers, bankers, whoever, whatever, whenever. It allows for them to meet up and basically just kind of take off all of the political correctness. So whenever they go behind these closed doors and they have these debates and these arguments and these discussions, whatever, it's in a light that apparently wouldn't be appealing to the media. and they don't want anything to get misconstrued or thrown out of proportion. So they do it in a way to where the media is completely closed off and no one is allowed in. It is so strict, and you can actually look up a few videos online, I've seen them myself, of people that are well known and noteworthy who didn't have like their, I don't know, badge or whatever. You have to have like a badge to get in. But they pulled up and they didn't have their badge, and it's like, I don't care. I clearly know who you are, but you didn't show up with the badge. So sucks you traveled all this way for nothing, but you traveled all this way for nothing. Holler. And yeah, they didn't go into the meeting. One of the statements mentioned is that the Bilderberg Group has no true power, because since it's all just hypothetical, or I guess just discussion, and there are no true votes taking place or decisions being made, you can't say that it's a new world order. See, you can't do it. You can't do it because that's what they said. It's not a new world order because there are no votes being had and no one's making any decisions. They're just having discussions, and so you can't say it's a new world order. Sorry. However, in 2009, they hosted a dinner outside in Brussels, and it was to, I believe, promote or congratulate one of the presidents of the European Council of like getting the job or something. And people kind of thought that was a little sketch. It's like, seems like a little bit of oversight to kind of, post up like this and celebrate like you had something to do with, anyway. But yeah, little people kind of had, some words and speculations about that. And I mean, like I said earlier, a few presidents kind of spawned out of here that, some people debated didn't have a shot or didn't have any kind of recognition, and they just sprung up out of nowhere. Anyways, we're going on to the next. The current chairman is a Henry DeCastis, who is also the chairman and CEO of a company, I believe, called AXA, AXA, which is a multinational insurance company out of Paris, France, I believe. So you have to be wondering, how are these events funded? Because, I mean, think about it. To get the CEO or former CEO of Google to pull up, and Stacey Abrams, and at one point in time, I think Bill Clinton, and I think maybe even Justin Trudeau, and many more. CEO of Palantir, rada. How do you get all of these people to break their very, very busy and important schedules to all meet up for 2 to 3 days, duck the media, and just kind of stay in a compound and talk? I mean, it has to be some serious funding. So where does it come from? Well, there are certain big companies who make donations, companies that you've definitely heard of, such as Nokia, Xerox, Fiat, Heinz, and I think a few more kind of big major players as well. So, they definitely believe in this event. They're throwing money at it to make sure that it stays alive every single year. And there's always a location picked out in advance, and there's an itinerary, and there's a whole team of people that are sitting by ready to book people and send out invitations and all this other crazy hoo-ha. So it's something. Now that we've covered basically all of the true facts, let's get into a bit of controversies and theories. I'm going to start you off with another quote. So I will unfortunately be looking down at my phone, but again, I want to make sure that I get this correct for you. It comes from our beloved, let me stop playing around before I just get smacked. It comes from Fidel Castro. But let's see what Fidel Castro had to say about the Bilderberg meeting/group. He was quoted describing the Bilderberg Group as sinister cliques and the Bilderberg lobbyists manipulating the public to install a world government that knows no borders and is not accountable to anyone but its own self. That's your boy Fidel Castro, CIA. I know you love him. And if I didn't make this very clear to you earlier, not all political people are in on this. And this is where it kind of gets hilarious, because if you ask politicians that are more left-leaning, they basically say that they think that the group is like some kind of conspiracy into causing this super capitalistic world domination where everything is capitalism and everything is just sold and everybody's going to be poor and then there's going to be a few, rich elite. While if you flip it, the right-leaning people say that they think that it's some kind of weird left-ish cabal thing going on, and it's going to be all about communism and a new world order where they reign over everything and they basically control everyone and I guess again make everyone poor. Apparently all politicians think that the Bilderberg Group is trying to make everyone poor. So whether it be through capitalism or communism, we're all going to be poor according to both sides. It's just funny to hear. Anyway. So it has been accused many times of lobbying and lobbyists. And Ian Richardson even claimed and accused the Bilderberg Group /meeting of a way for the rich and elite to extend their power and control and basically just kind of, find ways to exploit the system and to become more rich while you become more poor. I feel like I've said this too many times in a row, but that's all the theories kind of range about, which is a good thing because now I would like to get into my theories really quickly, my takes on it. Bilderberg Group, I've heard many people say, things like it's a new world order, global domination, all that fun stuff, right? If you want to know my true philosophy on the way I see things, who's to say that the world isn't run like that right now? We live in a world where you kind of have to choose between freedoms and security. And I think it's a very big balancing game that we're all trying to be conscious of right now. As far as the Bilderberg Group itself, I don't think it's anything crazy because I hear some people say stuff like this too, skull and bones and, cultish stuff and stuff like that. If you want to know how I really feel, honestly, I think it's just people kind of sitting behind closed doors trying to figure out ways that they can make more profit and put people into power that will get them the profits that they want. I think that's really about it. Have you ever watched Big Brother? I really don't watch Big Brother, but occasionally when I visit my family, they'll watch Big Brother. I feel like it's kind of like Big Brother, where they're all in the rooms and they're, whispering and they're just kind of making deals like, hey, if you knock out Clarence, I'll back you. I'll back you if you knock out Clarence. And in return, I'll give you $2 million for your funding and we'll make sure that you I feel like it's like that. I feel like that's really all that's happening now. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's messed up because cut me a deal, you know what I mean? I'm cool, cut me some money. But I really do feel like that's kind of all that's happening behind these closed doors. Is they're just kind of talking about what their particular country is doing or what they're doing in their company and saying, hey, for example, I'm Google, right? Hey, if you cut me some extra funding or you pass some laws in my favor, then let's just say that I may turn some algorithms in your favor and make it to where you pop up a little bit more. I feel like it's stuff like that, which, this still sounds outrageous, but it's not as outrageous as blood sacrifices and skull and bones or whatever. So, a few people trying to make a quick buck, that makes more sense than, anything else, New World Order and global domination or whatever. So, yeah. In short, that's the Bilderberg Group. A lot of your favorite people get behind closed doors and kind of act weird. Also, find this. There's actually a clip online. Remember earlier where I said not all politicians are in on it? You have to get invited. Otherwise, you can't go. They don't tell you anything about what happens outside of it. The only thing that you get is they give you the outline, basically. And that's public. You can go literally right now to the Bilderberg Group meeting website or whatever. And you can see the official guideline of the topics that they talk about every year. Which I think personally, if you go check that out, that lets you know what these people are thinking and what these people are thinking of in the future. Also, and no cap, Hey, you didn't hear it from me, but it may be a good way to figure out what stocks you might want to invest into. Not a financial advisor. Don't blame any of your losses on me. I'm just saying, just check it out. Just see if it makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, there's a clip online of, I think, some kind of UK parliament or whatever, or somewhere in the EU, because they all had accents. I'm sorry. And they were trying to grill this one politician, like all the people. They were like, what goes on in the meetings? And he was just dodging the question. It's kind of funny, but he was just like, oh, we're just, just having conversations, and yeah, we're just having good conversations. And they were like, about what? And he's like, just talking, and and he's like, why can't you tell us about it? He's like, well, you got to be a member, and that's how it works, and that just. But they asked this guy for, I think, like 5 to 8 minutes, just, how do we get in? What do you talk about? And he was ducking them. But anyways, that's enough for now. If I could ask you a quick favor, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, I'm going to put a video up here. This video is very suspicious because, it's one of our videos, but it's suspicious because, like, it got the lowest amount of views, and it's like a disturbingly low amount compared to like all the other averages. Just go back and look at all of our other video views recently in the IM series, and this one's a little weirdly low. It's almost like you got shadow banned, which please go look at it because there is a lot of crazy information in it, and this is a case that is happening right now. I don't even want to say the name of it in case it shadow bans this video, but please go check it out. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic week. Yeah, have a good week. Hope you smile a lot this week. Hope you smile a lot the next week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.